Lots of different nose shapes can be attractive, which is why it's not the make or break for a face, but there is a very high level of sensitivity when the nose is disproportionate. That's why it's perfectly placed at 5th. Not too important, but not to be ignored either. Along those same lines, as long as your nose is not overly deviant from your ethnic specific nose shape, it will harmonize well with your face. But when it is deviant, it's very noticeable because the nose is dead center in the middle of your face. Most attractive faces do have good noses, but the fact that we can find highly attractive faces with all kinds of nose shapes around the world means it won't beat out some of the other features on this list, which are more important and less negotiable on diversity. Your face shape undoubtedly plays a large part in making you attractive. That's why we put it at number 4 out of the top 10. And when talking about face shapes in this specific context, we are mainly referring to a very specific definition. We are talking about the clinical definition of the facial index, which is the length of your face relative to its width. Additionally, we also have to consider the relative width of the facial thirds, the upper, the middle, and the lower thirds. All these different face shapes you've heard about, such as your oval, square, long, short, medium, heart shapes, all stem from those two general dimensions, and they don't really matter more so because there are attractive faces from all of those categories. What does matter is the facial index, and that basically means an attractive face has a proportionate face shape, that a face that is neither too long or too short, or too wide or too narrow, or with the jaw or forehead that is not too bulbous. If we're going to put a number to it, let's just say according to Rennick and Ferretti's paper, your face should be 1.35 times longer than it is wide for men and 1.3 times in women, which is the population average that we see all across the world. You find the most attractive faces around this range, with some exceptions such as male model Jordan Barrett, who we've covered in the past, having a very wide face. In line with the concept of facial averageness, your bitemporal or forehead width and bigonial or the jaw width should also be around this similar width of your cheekbones, usually around 80 to 90%, to not appear too wide or too narrow. With all of that being said, different face shapes can be quite attractive, so there is some variability, but as a general rule, almost all beautiful people have a pleasant face shape, making this a highly important factor on the list because it does frame the entirety of your face and your features. I don't know if you were expecting this, but your eyebrows, eyelashes, and general brow ridge are the third most important facial feature for making an attractive face. It is cheating to bunch all of these features together, but usually they correlate with one another in terms of expression. In part 1, we mentioned that the cheekbone prominence was found to be the least important among the features studied by Mogilski and Welling. Among the features that beat cheekbone prominence was eyebrow thickness. Keep in mind, this is simply the vertical thickness of the eyebrows. There are a lot of other parts to an attractive eyebrow like the color, the shape, density, and position. However, the fact that eyebrow thickness alone was on par with face shape in terms of importance and beat out cheekbone prominence is very revealing about their saliency and importance in visual attention. Add on top of that list that the attractive feature of dark eyelashes, and it's obvious why these rank so high on the top 10 list. Women accentuate their lashes and brows for a reason. It's because they completely alter your perceived attractiveness. Your brow ridge, or the glabella region, is not entirely separable from your eyebrows. Your eyebrows sit on your brow ridge, so the underlying bone does affect how attractive you are. They also help make your eyes more deep set, which is generally considered attractive for men and to some degree for women too. The brow ridge is one of the more sexually dimorphic features on the face, where men usually have much more prominent brow ridges. We've seen the research from Niney and Rhodes, as well as others, that confirmed the importance of sexual dimorphism or being masculine looking or feminine looking in facial attractiveness. The brow ridge does have a role in controlling how masculine or feminine your face looks, depending on your sex. Your eyes are the second most important facial feature for an attractive face, and some people may put this feature at number 1, but either way, most people recognize this as one of the more important facial features. Perhaps if we lumped eyebrows in this, then the whole eye region would be number 1. In this case, your eyes refer to the spacing between your eyes, your eye shape, color, health, tilt, or how upturned they are, eyelid exposure, and other unique deformities or features like the limbal ring or under eye darkness, dark circles, hollowing, generally the whole periocular region. The distance between your eyes, being wide or close set, makes a surprisingly large difference in how attractive you are. The whites of your eyes, or the sclera, should also be white and healthy looking rather than yellowish or red, which looks sickly, and again, does have an impact on how attractive you are. Everyone seems to have unique eyes, and our eye shape is a major part of that. How sharp, narrow, rounded, upturned, droopy our eyes are all affect our perceived attractiveness. There are too many specific features to delve into detail for just this video, but we have made videos on this in the past. But having well-spaced, almond-shaped eyes is generally considered attractive. Again, many kinds of eyes can be considered beautiful as long as they don't stray too far from normality or averageness for your ethnic population. This is why the eyes are so crucial when it comes to looking attractive. There are just too many moving parts in the periocular region, and also one of the first things you look at is another person's eyes. No surprise here, but your jaw is the most important facial feature for attractiveness. This is a broad feature, as your jawline can be broken down into more than 5 individual parts, such as your chin, upper jaw, lower jaw, ramus length, jaw body, jaw height, anterior jaw length. However, when somebody says you have a nice jawline, they're talking about the whole lower third or the jaw complex as a whole, and all of these features combined, which is what makes this so significant. Because there are so many moving parts, again, this is undoubtedly a very important feature for attractive faces. I mean, just go out on your TikTok page and virtually every attractive person has a well-structured jaw. You will see a bunch of different eye and eyebrow shapes among models. However, almost all models and attractive celebrities all have well-defined, well-structured jawlines, which are more or less the same, which is why we put the jaw above the eyes. Having a defined and pleasant jaw angle is usually a prerequisite for an attractive face. Having a sharp jawline with low submental fat, again, something we see in almost all attractive faces. And so with the jawline, there is much less variability compared to the eyes. We've also touched on how crucial one's jaw development is for overall health indicators. Along with displaying your body fat percentage, having poor jaw alignment, such as an overjet, an underbite, or an overbite, or the orthodontic definition of your face, can make simple tasks like chewing and speaking more difficult. In this sense, having a healthy and attractive jaw is a universal and timeless indicator of beauty, because beauty is defined as function, and so having a dysfunctional jaw does make your face less attractive. This doesn't mean that you need the most robust jaw possible, but it does mean that you need a healthy jaw as the prerequisite for being attractive. Some honorable mentions that didn't make the list include your ears, neck, and facial symmetry, and these features can certainly impact facial attractiveness, especially if you have really large deviant ears, but they aren't as important as some of the other factors that we did put on the list. Most people don't glaringly notice facial asymmetry, but symmetry is still important enough of an overarching feature to have, but generally, these characteristics come with all of the others on the list. And so if you have strong jawlines, chances are you're also going to have lower levels of facial asymmetry, which is a topic we've covered in this video. With that being said, if you'd like to learn more about your top 10 features, your jawline, your ears, your eyes, and all of these characteristics in deep cephalometric detail with analysis and scientific literature performed by a team of doctors and dentists and with recommendations for changing your facial aesthetic, as always, that's over at the Coos website, and I'll catch you all in the next